A very good evening to all our viewers today. Welcome to another interesting session on this podcast series with Coach Minister. I am Dr. Anjana, your host for this evening. And today we have a very dashing personality, Dr. Aatman Sharma, with us. He is a passionate healthcare professional and a committed business leader. So he completed his graduation from GDC Bangalore and he finished his master's in Oral Medicine and Radiology from GDC Chennai. Currently, he's holding the position of the Vice President of Clinical Operations at Olivia Skin and Hair Clinics. He also completed a short stint at INMAS-DRDO as a research fellow after completing his master's. But soon his clinical calling and passion to craft smiles took him to India's largest dental network, Clove Dental. At Clove, he not only grew as a clinician, but also had the opportunity to be a clinical and soft skills trainer. Then he also selected doctors and dental assistants for the organization, spotted new locations for their business expansion, brainstormed on marketing ideas to grow business, and finally grew to understand the P&L of the healthcare business. All these varied experiences gave him opportunities to strategize for the organization while ensuring a high patient satisfaction across clinics under his jurisdiction, which was captured via the NPS scores. Going forward, he hopes to utilize this clinical expertise as well as the people management and business skills to further his reach of Olivia across the nation to ensure a high quality, seamless, and pleasant patient experience. So let us all welcome Atman for this wonderful session. Welcome, Dr. Atman.
Hi, Dr. Anjali. Thank you for the warm welcome.
Yeah, so here I would also like to mention to our viewers that, Atman is my batchmate. And we've had amazing 5 years during our graduation days in GDC Bangalore. So I'm very sure it is going to be a very thoughtful and nice nostalgic experience for you as well, Atman. So welcome again for this session. So let us start off, with your early career days. How did you get into dentistry, and especially why did you choose GDC Bangalore?
Okay. First of all, thanks a lot, Anjana. And definitely it's quite nostalgic to be speaking to you, and that too over a live YouTube call. So how did I get into dentistry? So like most of us, that time we had Karnataka CET. Like nowadays we've got NEET for admissions across the country. That time we had Karnataka CET in all India. So I cracked the Karnataka CET and got into government dental college. So initially I had got into VS Dental College for a month. And then second half, in the second round, I got into government dental college. And that's where we started.
Okay, amazing. So that, but it so happens that at least it was in my case that, I wanted to get into medical stream. And, not getting into medical stream, I got into BDS. I mean, I think this is the first question all dentist graduates get asked when they get into dental colleges that, did you choose to be a dentist or was it by chance? So in my case, at least it was by chance. So how was it in your case? If you can shed some light on that.
Yeah. So I was quite clear, after 10th standard that I wanted to get into the medical side of things. So, something related to healthcare, definitely. Because my dad being a doctor, that was always an inspiration for me to, become a doctor.
Right.
And when we cracked Karnataka CET and there was a chance that I would be getting GDC, and my dad spoke to his friends and batchmates and other colleagues. Everybody recommended, that dentistry is a interesting career path to take. And especially coming from doctors, they are very jealous of dentists because they don't have DMO duties, that is the night duties.
Very true.
So that was one thing. And then I explored the subjects. I spoke to other dentists, my dad's friends, and we saw that this could be an interesting path to take. And since we was getting one of the best colleges in the country, I said, okay, let's go ahead with it.
Right. Amazing. So that's very nice to know. And so when you speak about GDC, how was your experience in GDC? Bangalore.
Sure, Anjana, you know that very well. I think we had fantastic 5 years. I think, not just academics, sports, co-curriculars, everything. We were into all of it. And the most interesting part in GDC was, at that point of time, we tend to think that we're not studying enough. At least for you, you were one of the toppers in the batch, so I can't talk for you. But I myself, I don't think I've read that much during college. But when you come out and you start practicing, you realize that we really learned a lot, while
Very true.
treating patients there
Very
during
true.
the entire course. It was, I think, getting imbibed into all of us. The various subjects, the various treatments that we're doing, how to handle patients. I think, and that's become second nature to all of us. So I think that
Correct.
was the best and most fantastic experience we had in college there.
Right. Here, I would like to mention that Atman is not just good in sports and other co-curriculars. He was also an amazing singer with his guitar, and I think he was a sensation during our college days. Singing the Three Idiots song. That has been a very nice memory for me as well, and I agree. All my batchmates will agree to it definitely. So yeah, multifaceted personality. So very nice to have you here today, Atman.
Thank you,
So
Anjana. So
can
I was on
you?
the
Huh,
I was on the rock music side and you were on the classical music side. I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, very true. So yeah, can you share your experience during your GDC days and masters?
Okay, so that was also an interesting journey. So after
Hmm.
my BDS, I cracked All India and
Hmm.
I picked up Oral Medicine Radiology in GDC Chennai. Now,
Right.
GDC Chennai is interesting because it has the highest footfall in the country, the highest number of patients coming
Hmm.
in. And I
Correct.
think all of us would agree that for a dental college, the most
Hmm.
critical factor is footfall. If you have
Correct.
patients to treat,
Very
that's where
true.
you develop a skill set. So I think
Hmm.
that was a great experience. Again, I always, maybe I don't know, undermine myself. I thought that I'm not reading enough, but just seeing the number of patients and, speaking
Hmm.
to your colleagues, speaking to your faculty, staff, the learnings were fantastic and we had a
Hmm.
great time there. So GDC Chennai
Right.
was again fabulous.
I think a lot of dentists and dental students will agree to this fact that GDC has been one place where there will be no dearth for patients, be it any GDC for that matter. I think because the number of OPD patients that we get on a regular basis, I think will help a lot, and for the students, in their practice and during internship and all that, and that definitely puts a nice base for them for their coming years of practice, right?
Absolutely.
What did you do after completing your masters, and did you directly end up in a corporate dental setup like Clove, or how? What did you do after your masters, basically?
Yeah. So after masters, definitely there's a question in a lot of people's minds that what do you do after masters?
Hmm.
So I went on to join INMAS. INMAS
Hmm.
is basically Institute of Nuclear Medicine and Allied Sciences. It's
Hmm.
a DRDO lab in New Delhi.
Correct. Hmm.
And in fact, it is one of the very few places in the country where we have medical and dental research. I think,
Hmm.
if I'm not wrong, that is the only department to have a dental research wing.
Okay.
And also, India's first dental implant was developed there under the
Right.
guidance of our former President APJ Abdul Kalam sir. So I
Hmm.
think
Hmm.
that is quite interesting for me to see that a place in India is having dental research. So that's
Right.
where I went to,
Huh.
and yeah, I think I had a short stint there because
Hmm.
thereafter then I moved to Clove Dental.
Right.
So
Right. Yeah. So now let us come to the main topic of discussion of today's session. That is, to know about the in and out of the corporate dentistry, because that is one option for dentists, that they can have once they have completed their bachelor's, or even for that matter, even their masters, right? So let us try and understand more about the corporate dentistry. And since you have been in this field for a long time now, I would like to start off by asking, how does one search for a corporate dentist job in India, and who can get into this corporate setup? Is it like it has to be a BDS, or it has to be a MDS, or both can try? How is it? Just shed some light on that for us.
okay. So the best part about a corporate dental practice is that there are opportunities for both BDS graduates and MDS graduates of all
Right.
specialties.
Hmm.
It obviously depends on the size of the corporate chain as to how many clinics they would have and what kind of
Right.
roles can they offer. But
Correct.
where I have worked, we had opportunities for every kind of dentist, and we had specialists from all specialties.
Hmm.
As to how do you get into them? Nowadays, every chain has got their own website where they
Correct.
post jobs. People can
Hmm.
search jobs there.
Hmm.
Then jobs can be searched via LinkedIn, via
Hmm.
Naukri.com, via Indeed, all these job portals. That's where the HR posts the job vacancies, and doctors can log in there and
Okay.
apply for a job.
Okay. Now that you mention about LinkedIn and Indeed and all that, do you think, a lot of, I have not been very active on LinkedIn personally myself, and I have started using LinkedIn now. So do you feel that, dentists are underutilizing this particular platform and they should start using it more? What is your opinion on that?
Absolutely. So LinkedIn is a fantastic platform. So, once
Hmm.
you create a profile and, put your accomplishments there and your past
Hmm.
education, and then you see and you start following various pages, what interest you, and you get to read very interesting articles. So LinkedIn as
Right.
a platform is fantastic because it's very different from a Facebook or a Instagram, which is more for social
Hmm.
connect or for fun or for media consumption. LinkedIn
Right.
has really great articles, and it really opens up, one's mind as to what is really happening in the world all around us.
Right.
The one challenge I feel dentists face is that we don't really know how well to put ourselves out there.
Correct.
The
Very
skill
true.
set, a lot of
Huh.
doctors possess fantastic skill sets, which they
Hmm.
execute on patients. They treat fantastic patients. The outcomes
Hmm.
will be great. But
Hmm.
showcasing it to the world is something which I think doctors lack. And that is one thing which one should inculcate and try and practice and, build their profile there.
Very true, very true. I truly agree to that point because I have personally started using LinkedIn now, and I can definitely, agree to what you said on, putting your best foot forward on LinkedIn definitely matters a lot, and that is how people with similar interests can reach out to you, and you can build your network, and that is definitely going to help in your careers. So great on that. Now coming to the compensation part on in a corporate dentist job. So how is it like? How is the compensation fixed? Is it based on a fixed salary basis, or is it like on a percentage basis? How does it usually work out in a corporate setup?
Okay. So there are various models. So because there are multiple corporates, I think most of them have various different kind of packages for various doctors.
Right.
But there is a component, there's a fixed component. It also depends on the responsibility one is handling. So
Hmm.
if somebody were to be handling a clinic, so like a clinic head,
Hmm.
who's in charge for running the entire show, they would
Right.
obviously have a higher fixed component, and there would be a
Hmm.
variable component linked to their performance. That is akin to
Okay.
any professional in any corporate organization,
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
non-doctors, say
Huh.
HR, IT, marketing,
Right.
quality, finance,
Hmm.
all the professionals have a variable and a fixed component. That's
Hmm.
what is there for doctors as well. For
Okay.
various specialists, they would be, say, a percentage linked to the amount of work that they execute.
Okay.
So there's a variable component, there's a fixed component, and there could be some doctors who are only on call, like what happens in
Okay.
private practice as well. So when somebody
Right.
is having a private practice and they call a specialist from outside and they are
Hmm.
paid for their service, accordingly,
Right.
that same thing can be applied in a corporate as well.
Okay. Okay. So now that you mentioned that both MDS and BDS definitely are open and they're welcome in the corporate setup. Uh, is it that any particular clinical specialization MDS graduates have better opportunities, or is it the same with all specializations? If you can just, say something on that.
Okay, that's a very controversial question to answer because I don't want to, be
Nahin, I
biased
mean,
towards a
I'm just
particular
telling ki,
specialty. I understand.
no, it's
So the
just
thing
that
is,
I'm
see,
asking, yeah,
so
please go
so
ahead.
my take is that the best thing about a corporate practice is because when they have multiple clinics, there are opportunities
Yeah,
for both BDS and MDS graduates. Now, if you
correct.
were to ask me about skill set, now
Huh,
every specialty has its role.
hmm,
Definitely endodontics has a huge role in terms of restorative work, endodontic work, endodontic surgeries,
huh,
aesthetic work. Prosthodontics has a huge work in terms of crown, bridge, dentures,
correct.
implant prosthetics, implants.
Hmm,
Surgeons have a lot of work. So everybody has got their field of work.
hmm,
So there's a requirement for everybody. Orthodontics now is undergoing a sea change with aligners
correct.
coming in a big
Yes,
way.
Invisaligns. Right.
But instead of orthodontists thinking that aligners will take away their job, it's in fact the other way around. An
Hmm,
aligner is just another treatment modality which the
correct.
orthodontist has to execute. So
Very
there are
true. Hmm,
opportunities for everybody. Even
hmm,
a lot of journal dentists who've got fantastic skill sets hold
hmm,
great value in a corporate organization. See, a
hmm,
journal
hmm,
dentist has the journal dentist can operate on multiple services, on multiple treatments. They can look at a patient from a very neutral perspective without a bias from a particular specialty. And I feel they make the best clinic managers or clinic heads. So
Very
everybody's
true.
got a good role to play.
Right. I think this particular question was asked on the basis that, there are a lot of non-clinical graduates who think that, they are not welcome, and I think this will give them a lot of positive hope that, no, that is not the case, and definitely they can, shine and outshine rather in certain areas which they are expertise in. So I think that was the basis for this particular question. Fine, moving ahead now. What is the amount of freedom for these dentists to work in these corporate dental chains? For that is, I mean to say, like, can they continue their further, if they are interested in research, say for example, would they be allowed to pursue research when they are working in these corporate setup? And also, if they want to, pursue their own private practice once the corporate work timings are over, are they permitted? I mean, I want to know on that front as well.
See, now there aren't too many corporate practices in India. There are a few, but the ones, mostly the policy is that, you don't have a conflict of interest. So you don't have your own practice while you're working there. There could be some chains who would say have certain specialists who would be having their own practice, and they would come and provide their specialty service in the corporate chain here.
As and when needed.
But I strongly feel that one should be working in a single place. That's when you bring your best foot forward. That's when you're always there. You're in the zone. You're providing the best to your patients. You're committed. So be it your own private practice, or be it a corporate practice, or be it a college for that matter. So I very strongly believe that if you're working in a particular place, do well there and make a mark there, because in an attempt to try and yahan bhi haath maar lo, yahan bhi haath maar lo, it really doesn't work. That's what I very strongly feel. So most of the corporates at this point of time don't really entertain one having a private practice unless there are some certain specialities who can come and provide certain specialist treatments.
Right, perfect. So also, do the corporate setup also, help the dentists to pursue their studies further? Say, for example, if you have a BDS graduate who's working in a corporate setup, and say after a few years of clinical practice, the student, I mean the graduate, he or she wants to pursue their masters, say for example. So is there any provision for that, or is it just like that they have to, like other students, they will have to take the same route? I mean, how is it?
Yes, unfortunately, corporates have not grown to that level that they would have an academic course running parallelly, that to a university affiliated one. But there's no embargo on people going out and trying to take up higher education. If somebody wants to, after certain years of practice, want to go out and do a master's, they're definitely free to do. There is upskilling. Now, upskilling on the job is very much there in corporates. So if you talk of a structured master's program, no, a corporate organization does not provide that. But in terms of upskilling of certain skills, be it practice management skills, be it clinical skills, say anterior aesthetic restorations, be it inlay onlay treatments, be it rotary root canals, be it rubber dam usage, be it lasers, be it implants. So all these upskilling is definitely there in corporates, and in a very good and structured way, in fact.
Right. So you mean to say that a nice short-term courses are provided for the interested candidates who would like to upskill themselves, and definitely they can take their career paths ahead, right?
Absolutely. It's in fact, in the interest of both the organization and the doctors that, we upskill, because then you get better at what you're doing. You provide better treatments to your patients, and then they are happy, and then they come back again. That's the whole idea.
Right. So you speak about, you mentioned about, the upskilling part in terms of clinical practice. Now, if I am asking about, say somebody, some of the dentists, they have that knack and inclination towards management. And I can proudly say your example as well in that. So, when it comes to that, so does the corporate setup provide any, training and some encouragement for such candidates who want to get into management side of the practice?
Yes, absolutely. There are a lot of trainings, starting from practice management. Now, practice management is just 2 words, but it is very, very important to know how to run practices, because unfortunately in dental colleges in India, we're not told how to manage a practice, how to look for a location to open a clinic, what size should be the clinic, what are the various government regulations that you have to follow to open a clinic, what about biomedical waste management disposal, what about documentation, what about legalities, what about consents, what about indenting material, what about maintaining profit loss, what about maintaining a cash flow, so that you don't end up making losses, so what about indemnity insurance? So there are so many aspects into running a practice. So practice management definitely teaches you that, and corporates definitely train people who have the knack for that, and so that you hone your skills in a particular way, so that you get better at your job and you can take up bigger opportunities.
Right, very true. Now that you mentioned about the practice management, I mean, I am pursuing my master's in nutrition and dietetics from Symbiosis. There, I see a lot of students, BDS graduates especially, who take up this MBA program in hospital and healthcare management. I think that has become a big opportunity for dentists who are very much interested in hospital management, healthcare management, who want to take it up in a big way. So I think this management per se is becoming a very nice field for dentists to take up after BDS also. And so what about dentists who come to you with an MBA degree or PG diploma degree? Then how is that? I mean, what opportunities do those people have in a corporate setup?
So they have a lot of opportunities, not just in a corporate dental practice, but also in corporate hospitals as well. So after having done an MBA, because see, now healthcare is so diversified. Traditionally, the model of healthcare in India was private practices, colleges, and hospitals, either private or government. But now we've got so many single specialty, multi-centric practices coming in. If you see dental, obviously, you see skin and hair, you see eye, you see ENT, you see now sugar clinics coming up, you see dialysis clinics coming up, you see chemotherapy chains coming up. So polyclinic concept is coming in. So there are so many opportunities across the healthcare field, and somebody who is equipped with the right management degree can definitely is very well equipped to handle any of these setups, because whenever you have a multi-center setup, operations becomes very critical. Clinical operations, managing finances, HR, quality is very important in every healthcare practice. The IT side of things, documentation. So everywhere you need people who can manage these, and that's what a manager does, and that's what an MBA degree equips you with. So I think there's great opportunities in that direction.
Very true, very true. So I would like to ask here, what is the career growth trajectory for a dentist who starts their career in the dental chains in general? So what is the career growth trajectory that they take?
So career growth can be, if somebody starting in a clinical position, so there could be clinical and non-clinical positions where people can start with. So if I talk of clinical first, in clinical, they can join as a resident doctor with a senior clinic head in a particular clinic where there are a group of dentists working together. So as you get better at certain skills, either you hone a particular skill and start specializing in that direction, or if you are good in general management and understanding the, and running the entire clinic, you can go on to become a clinic head. As you become a clinic head and you start running a clinic well, and there are happy patients and the whole clinic is profitable and people are happy, then you can go on to manage a multiple number of clinics. That could be something like a cluster head or a zonal head or a regional head for that matter. So as we have more number of clinics coming up, one can grow up that ladder to manage more and more number of clinics. That comes from the clinical operations side. Other than that, in the non-clinical side, there are dentists in marketing, there are dentists in the customer care department, there are dentists in HR, there are dentists in IT. Now somebody's got a good IT skill set, or maybe they're equipped with certain IT skills, or they know a coding language. They have a huge role to play in healthcare IT, because a doctor with IT skill set is the right bridge between clinical doctors and the core IT software developing team. Because nowadays every healthcare platform is obviously on tech. Nobody is documenting their patients on pen and paper.
No, that was
Including
long gone.
including government colleges now. When we were in
Correct.
BDS, we used to have those small green diaries where we would make the patient notes. Now all of it
Yes.
is online. So to
Correct.
handle all that data and to have a right interface for doctors to see and enter the data, you need doctors with IT skill set. So like I said, if one is into non-clinical side, there are so many other platforms which one can explore. HR
Right.
definitely, marketing definitely, quality is major because a doctor understands quality, very deeply. In fact, in a dental practice, because there are so many instruments and materials used to perform a single procedure, and
Correct.
if there's a challenge in quality anywhere, it can hamper the entire workflow. So quality is very important. Trainings again is very important. So a dentist has opportunities in all these fields and can grow up the
Amazing.
ladder in all of them.
That is really something very interesting to me as well, because as you mentioned, if it is somebody non-clinical and getting into so many diverse field, I mean, this opens a sea of opportunities for a lot of dentists who are looking into getting into this corporate setup. So I think that's amazing to know. And thank you for sharing all those information with us. So coming to the work-life balance, and we all know, being in the medical field, it is a very demanding profession, both physically also, because I would say dentistry, when we practice forehand dentistry, it's still demanding physically. You need to be physically fit as well, and mentally definitely yes. So how does is there any difference in the work-life balance that a corporate dentist has when compared to a normal private practitioner?
Okay. So now, in fact, if I were to put it all in a nutshell, I would say corporate dentists might have an edge there in terms of work-life balance.
Okay.
Now, people always see that it's always greener on the other side. Corporate practices would feel that private practice has a better work-life balance, and a private one would say that a corporate has a better work-life balance. Now, if I
Right,
were to
right.
say a private practice with a booming, patient flow, and you are always on the job, and your patients want you, and you are the only one who's
Correct.
providing care, people
Right.
feel guilty to take leaves. So I have so many of our friends who are in private practice who are not able to, take long leaves because they don't want to leave their practice alone. On the other side, in a corporate practice, again, yes, because you are involved in patient care, you have a responsibility towards your patients and your clinic. So you dedicate time there. But the best thing is that there are times, when a clinic is open, say 10 to 7 or 10 to 8, and that's when you work. And one can
Right.
always find a work-life balance. Now, when we sign up to join any medical or dental college, we always know that we are, in for it for the long run, and
Correct.
work-life balance could take a hit sometime. But I
Correct.
feel it is up to the individual to, ensure how they balance things out and maintaining your, passions or interests or, family time or travel time or whatever it may be. One can do it wherever, be it a private practice or a corporate practice.
That's really nice piece of advice. So yeah, I mean, when it comes to the management side of the corporate setup, how do these corporate dental practices, attract and retain their top dental talent that they have with them?
So see, for attraction, obviously, it is the USP of the dental practice,
Right.
because you're getting to work with so many other skilled doctors or professionals with you. That is the first, thing which should attract a person to work with so many people and learn from them.
Correct.
Secondly, opportunity to work with the best world-class material and equipment. Because see, we all understand there is a lot of investment which goes into opening a practice. Now, in a corporate, the advantage is that the management is setting those fantastic practices for you to practice with. So you get the
Correct.
best quality materials, best quality equipment, standardized SOPs, protocols, legal cover, which is very important. Legal cover, indemnity insurance,
Right.
support from all other functions. As we, what do you call, we start our practice, and we need support from marketing. We need support. We need financial support. We need
Right.
somebody to handle our taxes. We need somebody to take calls for us. So all that support is provided by a corporate. So I think
Correct.
that is a very good attractive bet, that why should one really go in for a corporate and join. And how do they retain top talent? Obviously with appraisals, and promotions, and appreciations, and giving the right doctor the right opportunity to grow. I think that is a very important thing here. If somebody is doing well, they have opportunities to grow. That is a very big thing. If nothing against private practitioners, but if I were to be in a private practice, I would be there. There's no other opportunity other than just extending and adding more clinics to my practice. So yeah, I feel corporate is the way to go.
Yeah, and I would like to add here that, as you mentioned before, upskilling opportunities, that is again another important aspect that a lot of people look into. I mean, if you are a private practitioner, you try to, look for it on your own. And here, I think you get it in hand and you can do it, and you can definitely upskill yourself and better your practice. So that, I think, is one more added advantage for a corporate setup. So amazing. Now, a slightly off question. I mean, there is a belief among dentists and even for that matter, the patients who come to a corporate setting that, these corporate settings, they have certain monthly targets and, a particular practitioner, they need to meet those targets. This is a belief in general among the public that is seen, and in order to meet those targets, the practitioner sometimes may advise some unnecessary treatments and things like that. So what is your take on that? Because this we have heard a few times, and I wanted to hear from you because you've been in this setup for a long time, so I want to know it from you.
Okay, Anjana, great question, and I think nothing off about it. I think it's the challenge is that we don't discuss numbers in college. We're not taught about finances, so we think it is off topic. In fact, I would say I see it very normally. Not just a corporate practice. Anybody, any practice, even in my own private practice. Rather than using the word target, we call them goals.
Correct.
See, there are always goals in every organization, even your own. If I were to have my own private practice, if I have one chair today and I want a second chair tomorrow, I have to plan my profit and loss. What am I spending money on? How much are my outgoing costs on rent, material, electricity, salaries, and services like biomedical waste, water, all these things. So these are expenses. And obviously, every doctor in the world wants to have an ethical practice and ethical way to make that money and ensure you are not incurring losses. So that is the most basic aspect of running any business, not just a corporate dental practice or corporate healthcare practice. So having targets or having goals, there's nothing wrong in that, because somebody very rightly said that only if you have more money coming in, do you have the opportunity to reach out to more people and treat them. So if I don't have a positive cash flow, how will I reach out to more people? How will I give right treatment to more people? I cannot be making losses and not being able to run my household and be delivering service to people.
Very true.
It's not about a corporate practice. It is about every healthcare. Even a government healthcare setup. A government cannot just be incurring losses all across. That comes as a subsidy, but there are ways to make money as well. So there's nothing wrong in targets. I'm sure you have your life targets. I have my life targets. There's nothing wrong in having targets.
Definitely, absolutely. I think
I'll add one point there. I'll add one point there. Sorry. When we spoke of ethics, now again, the concept of ethics applies to every healthcare professional, be it a BDS student or a BDS graduate or a MDS student, MDS graduate, or a MBBS doctor or any specialist for that matter. Either they're in college practice or they're in private practice or they're in corporate practice. The concept of ethics is very personal, and one should never flounder that. So to meet certain targets without having a written target, a private practitioner could do the same. So in fact, I would say corporate practice is better controlled because we have such strict quality measures and SOPs that the opportunity to do wrong practice or malpractices is not there. Nowadays, there are CCTVs, there are recordings, there are digital records, there are before after pictures, there are consent forms. So the opportunity to, and all these cases are audited from the back end. So nobody would want to get into malpractice here. The opportunity for malpractice is where there are no control measures. And corporates have great control measures. So I think, I don't see any harm there.
Okay, I think this beautifully answers, the myth about the corporate setup having, specified targets. I mean, definitely giving it another name of a goal definitely changes the perspective you see it. I think that is an eye opener in itself. So very beautifully answered there. So now let us come into the future. I mean the current and the future. So what do you think? I mean, do you think that this corporate dentistry will become a dominant model for practice in future? What is your take on that?
Absolutely, it will become a
Hmm.
dominant force in the future, and it should be. I
Hmm.
feel, the challenge in India is that we have too few corporate practices. There's
Hmm.
opportunity for many, many more to enter, and for the existing ones to really, strengthen their foothold across cities. There are
Correct.
so many cities in India which don't have access to quality healthcare.
Hmm.
We see it in major big cities at this point of time, but the
Hmm.
opportunities are immense, and a corporate
Hmm.
does not define that they have to address a certain economic zone in the population.
Ah.
There can be
Hmm.
various corporate practices addressing the needs of various people across the country, not
Correct.
just geographic locations but also economic stratification of the population. So that is very, very important that we have more corporates coming in, and the opportunities are absolutely immense.
Right. Now that you mention, it gets me thinking, with this corporate chain of clinics, I think entering tier three, tier two cities will become much easier, and, they can have affordable care through dentists who are excellently skilled and who are willing to work. Because what we see is the cream of dentists are in the tier one cities, and they want to practice in the cities, and they don't want to shift to other places. But we all know as dental fraternity that there is a lot of stagnation, and it is, I think it will be overcrowded with dentists in the tier one cities. So if with these chains we can take it to tier two, tier three cities, I think that will be a great opportunity for both dentists and the patients as well, to get affordable, nice, good care through these dental chains.
Yep.
Yeah, right.
So tier two, tier three, has a lot of good dentists and dental practices. See what
Correct.
differentiates a corporate from a private practice. It's
Hmm.
basically having stringent SOPs, having
Hmm.
quality protocols, having
Hmm.
standardized materials, standardized pricing, standardized look and feel. I think that is what makes a corporate, and having a very core USP and
Hmm.
core values to follow, which
Right.
makes them tick or makes them different from others in the market. So I think if
Right.
somebody in a tier 3 city can also have 10-20 clinics with the right philosophy, even they can make a corporate.
Right, right. So, what, according to you, are the biggest challenges? You definitely spoke about the opportunities that the corporate dentistry can offer for today, but what are the biggest challenges, according to you, that the corporate dentistry faces?
Okay, nice. That's an interesting question. So, first challenge is that we don't have too many corporates. Second challenge, I would say, is that a lot of big investors are maybe not putting in money into
Hmm.
corporations, because we need that money to expand. Obviously,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
any startup, every startup,
Hmm.
say for food delivery, you got 10 apps, but you don't have
Right.
10 corporate dental chains. So
Absolutely.
we need that money coming in from big corporations.
Hmm.
Secondly, talent. I think for corporate, the challenge is getting the right talent. That
Hmm.
is where dental colleges and having a unified dental education policy across the country with the right
Hmm.
skill sets, and training people in colleges who are market ready. I think that is the
Hmm.
biggest challenge for any corporate, to get the right skill set. That is why
Hmm.
we spend so much on upskilling, because we
Correct.
get dentists from all different parts of the country who may not
Hmm.
have the best of skill sets, or everybody will be
Hmm.
the distribution of skills will be very unequal. So
Correct.
training them obviously takes a lot of cost. So if colleges can come in and train people well, who are always
Hmm.
market ready, and there are a lot
Hmm.
of people who are ready to fund, we can have
Hmm.
many more corporate dental chains across the country.
Right. Now that you mention about dentists who are coming out of college, as we all know, the number of dental colleges per se has increased a lot. I mean, coming to Bangalore itself, the number of colleges has shot up, and consequently, the number of dental graduates coming out of the dental school has also increased a lot. So, since you are in the senior management position, you would be taking a lot of interviews and talking to a lot of youngsters who are coming out of fresh out of college. So, do you feel that with these number of colleges and graduates coming in, there is a decline in the quality of dentists coming out, or what do you feel? I mean, what's your take on that?
Like I said sometime ago, unfortunately, yes, the quality of dentists, because it also depends on the inquisitiveness of the individual to learn and grow.
Right,
But
true.
yes, we are seeing a slight decline in skill sets, but obviously I cannot put everybody into the same bucket. There are a lot of fantastic new youngsters who are coming in with the right
Correct.
skills to grow
Hmm.
and perform. That is where I
Hmm.
said a standardization of dental education is very important, bringing
Hmm.
everybody up to level, to speed, having the latest equipment in colleges, even college
Hmm.
faculties adopting the latest practices. That is very important. So
Correct, correct.
upskilling,
Very
not
true.
only in corporates, upskilling even in college is very important.
Yeah, very true on that. Now that we speak about latest technology and all that, so how do you think because AI is everywhere now, AI is in dentistry as well. So how do you think AI has affected dentistry and dental practice in general?
So AI is already into dental practice, because starting from diagnosis, a
Hmm.
lot of images and radiographs are there across the world, and they need to be
Correct.
screened, they need to be
Hmm.
diagnosed. So AI is helping a lot of people there. Obviously,
Hmm.
they're in a very rudimentary stage, but some of the AI tools are very helpful, especially in radiology,
Hmm.
not just dental, even medical radiology. So
Correct.
AI is very helpful there. AI is also very helpful in monitoring quality parameters, in
Hmm.
monitoring, if operatory has been disinfected. You link up AI to CCTV, like what is happening in Clove. They bought something called Dory, which
Right.
monitors as to how well a chair has been disinfected. So I think that is
Hmm.
fantastic for patients, that they get a absolutely clean chair, which is seen by quality.
Right.
And quality for, sorry, AI for documentation, for,
Hmm.
because data analytics is so strong.
Hmm.
People with multitude of problems, see 130 crore people,
Hmm.
130 crore mouths, so many number of teeth. So there's so much data to analyze. So definitely AI is very helpful in all spectrums, and I'm sure we'll only see AI, really helping dentists in the future. They obviously can't take away our jobs, what
Hmm,
people
that
think,
is true.
because AI is only a tool. Now, in fact,
Hmm.
if you see, AI in treatment planning is very, very important, especially in
Hmm.
orthodontics. If you
Hmm.
see simulation of a malocclusion being treated with aligners, or smile designing, all these things need AI. So I think AI is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Right. Where do you see dentistry in the next decade or two? What do you think will be the future of dentistry according to you?
Future of dentistry is fantastic,
Huh.
as long as people are willing to upskill themselves and be
Hmm.
the best version of themselves. So I know it's a often said statement, but truly, at least for dentists, is very important, because we are
Hmm.
ultimately treating people. We are giving the right solution. It's not just
Correct.
about making a cavity and just putting a filling there. Making
True.
the cavity with the right principles, what we learned in college, is very important.
Hmm.
Handling the material well is very important.
Hmm. Hmm.
Executing the treatment is very important, all while ensuring safety of the patient and
Hmm.
disinfection, and giving
Hmm.
them a lasting result. All these are, I know these are often said statements, but executing it and doing your best treatment every day, I think that is most important. So if we are able to do that, the future of dentistry is fantastic, like I said, all
Right.
across.
Yeah. So here I would just like to add another point here that, when it comes to surgeries in general, when we talk about medical surgeries, there the patient is usually anesthetized and the patient is not aware of his surroundings or her surroundings. And especially when it comes to dentistry, the patient is completely aware, looking straight into your eyes. And it is just a local anesthesia that we have given. So I think we have far more responsibilities when we're working on a patient, and that definitely is a far more challenging job. And as you said, there is definitely a high hope for dentistry in the coming decades. So as we are coming closer to the session, which has been a fantastic one till now, can you share a few words about your current position with Olivia Skin and Hair Clinics? Would you like to share regarding that?
So I think I can put in a quick nutshell, because we were
Hmm.
talking about using LinkedIn. So in fact, I
Yeah.
think I was active on LinkedIn and updated my profile there, and I think
Okay.
that's where I was spotted from, and we interacted here. And
Hmm.
I think they saw that I had the right skill set to take the chain forward. So I'm handling clinic operations. Oliva is in fact India's largest employer of dermatologists, where
Hmm.
we do skin and hair treatments, which are
Hmm.
dermatologically led. And I am not doing those treatments. We've got a team of doctors who are doing that. I am handling the clinic operations. I think it's an interesting journey, and I hope that we take it forward.
Yeah, so best wishes to you for that, for your new position, and at Olivia, all the best for that. So finally, would you like to give any, advice for the young budding dentists who are listening to you today regarding choosing their future career paths, and in general as a corporate dentist, what advice would you like to give to those people?
Thank you, Anjana. So I think I would say we are young dentists, the younger dentists.
Yeah.
So, see, the one advice I give to everybody and all doctors who come out and reach out to me, I say again, be the best at whatever you're doing. We think an oral prophylaxis, a scaling is a simple procedure. It is not, because like you very rightly said, the patient is well alive and aware of what is happening. So doing the best scaling is a skill. And if you're able to do that, doing the best restoration, which lasts for years, those kind of things. So getting best at whatever you do, ensuring the safety and comfort of a patient is the most important skill set for any dentist to be successful in life. You may be a general dentist, you may be a specialist, whatever specialty work you're doing, you have to be the best at it. And I think that should be the focus of every dentist if they're able to listen to this. We often talk of DDS doctors and dentists abroad. With all due respect, they don't have the best skill sets. They've got more structured way of working. They've got more policies and protocols and regulations which is controlling their work. So somewhere, they kind of all of them kind of perform decently well. If you ask me in terms of skills, I think our dentists are very, very well skilled. We just have to structure our whole way of working. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to showcase your skills to the world, but do it with the right intent and do it well. I see before after pictures which are ulta pulta, teda meda, hazy ones, not showing the right area of interest. So learn documentation, learn photography, learn to write well, learn, publish your cases across, and speak positively about dentistry to the world. Everybody needs a dentist at least at one point of time in their life. So we've got immense opportunities all across, and I think that's it from my side.
Okay, so putting in a nutshell, having a good ethical practice and being true to yourself, being the best at what you're doing, will definitely take you to greater heights. And I think sky is the limit when all of this is followed to the T. I think thanks, Dr. Aatman Sharma. I mean, it was an amazing, amazing experience talking to you today. And I think a lot of myths regarding corporate dentistry was busted today. And I think a lot of young dentists have been encouraged to pursue this as well as a career option in their futures. So thank you so much for taking time and talking to us today. It was a wonderful experience for me personally and very nostalgic one as well. So thank you for being here, and I hope everyone enjoyed the same. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, Anjana. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah. So good day to all our viewers. Thank you then. Bye.
Bye-bye.